Hello, I am Ballheat. This is my anime tier list. A while back, I asked my friends to send me a bunch of anime recommendations, and that's a video I'm gonna do later. This video is kind of like a precursor to that, where you're gonna get my feeling and my taste for animes. A couple things off a rip. Some of these anime I did not finish, either because they're too ass, they're currently coming out, or it's just certain animes I just won't watch all the way through right away. I watch them occasionally. Also, as you can see at the top here, Ballheat anime tier list. So this is my tier list. Y'all are gonna disagree with a lot of things. I completely understand that. Leave them in the comments. I might even tell you why you're wrong. So I'm basically gonna go over each anime, tell you why I like it, why I don't like it. I might get emotional for some of them. I might get a little too real, but I will be spoiling almost every single anime on here. So if you want a spoiler-free tier list or a spoiler-free review, I'm not the guy, I'm sorry. Leave timestamps for every anime, so if there's an anime you want to watch, you could skip to another thing. Also, don't come for me, but I watched a lot of these in dub. Most of them, in fact. And I know, cardinal sin. Worst thing you could do, you're a piece of shit, I hate you already. Listen, dub is fire. The voice actors are good, for the most part. If they're ass, then I won't watch it. It's just that simple. But mans like me have ADHD. So I can't be reading and looking at peak. Because sometimes there's too much peak that I forget to read and I don't have context for what's going on anymore. It happens too fast sometimes. If I wanted to read, I'd just read the manga. So then I'd have time to read and look at pictures. I don't have the ability to multitask. Freaking, I don't have two eyes. One's looking at the words, one's looking at the peak. There's too much. I want to see peak. I just want to enjoy the peak. Also, I don't speak Japanese. So some of the words just don't hit as hard for me. If any of y'all speak another language, you know what I mean. Where words have different meanings depending on the language. Even if it's translated to the same thing, it has deeper meaning in some other languages. Like for Filipino people, mahakita means I love you, but means it more deeply, like a deep love. I like to know the genuine emotions. And for people who speak another language, sometimes the subtitles don't be translating it right. They change the words completely. And also, mans be looking like me saying Ohayo gozaimasu. What's going on here? It takes my immersion out. Dub. I'm sorry if that offends you. I hope you're Japanese with that opinion. Also, just for the record, I'll be recording this in segments because I don't have unlimited access to be able to be loud and appreciative of these anime. So, if you see different lighting or me looking different, me wearing a different headphone, then that's why, because I'm recording it differently. So, it's the best I can do with what I got. A little rundown of the tiers. So the first one, S tier, turned me into an otaku. Basically, a loser, guilty as charged. Some of this shit's just too peak. Then it's almost perfect. Amazing. Just something keeping it out of S tier. Something that doesn't work all the way, Then it has its fair share of peak. Sometimes animes be ass, but they got some peak to it. And it kind of brings up the ass and makes it kind of like a B tier, like a middle ground, Then it's I liked it, but it's likely ass. A guilty pleasure. I can admit it. I like some shit that's probably garbage, but I like it, so that's okay. Then it's don't like but could see it, the exact opposite. Sometimes I'd be watching something and I'm like, yo, this shit ass, but I'm sure some people find this fire. Like, blue cheese. I understand some people love that shit. I think it's ass. Then it's meh, pretty self-explanatory, and ass, very self-explanatory. So, let's just get into it. We're gonna start with the first one, Deadman Wonderland. Okay. For those of you who don't know, and you know what, crazily enough, this is one of the ones I saw in Japanese. So applaud, hold the pog champs. I know. But this shit got cancelled. After one season. And I thought the season was great. This show's about this kid who gets accused for killing his entire class and then gets sent to this freaking Squid Games ass prison where they fight each other, and some of them have blood powers for some reason. Peak. I don't get why this shit got canceled. I'm genuinely astonished as to how some of the other shit on here managed to last years and this shit didn't get another season. I don't know what happened. I don't know if like man's got sick. I don't know. I didn't read too deep into it. I didn't care enough. But this shit was peak. I had so many questions unanswered. Who the fuck are these people? Why did they frame my boy God? Why do they run this prison? Why do they have blood? Who is this bitch? Dude, the main character was Drip. The side character, Senji? Man had blood blades coming out of his arms like he's fucking Chip Zangief. Guilty Gear. The twist of frickin' Shiro being the guy that killed Ganta's whole class. Fire! That bitch is loyal, joyful, and adorable. And they got cancelled. Dude, they had a wheel of body parts after they lose a fight in the frickin' Wonderland. There was psychopaths in the show. Like frickin' Minasuki, whatever her name was. One of the few main characters I thought was actually kind of sick. His emotions made sense to his surround. He wasn't just all positivity. Sometimes man go crazy. Sometimes man headbutt a shorty. Cause she's talking crazy. It happens. I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe this is a horrible way to start this off. But I thought it was good. Now, we're gonna speak of literal perfection. JJK. JJK is so fucking peak. You could say whatever you want about season 1. You could say whatever you want about season 1. They're introducing characters. I still think that shit was peak. Maybe not S tier off season 1 alone, but you get to meet a lot of sick characters. They're developing the world, you know? But season 2 is so peak, man. And let me just, before I even start talking about the season, this show might have the strongest top 3 like main characters of any show ever. The main character Itadori, the basically main character Gojo, and the main bad guy Sukuna. And he's not even the main guy, but he is the main bad guy at the same time. If you don't even want to put Geto in, still bangs. If your top 3 you think is better than this top 3 isn't on this list, I'm sorry, I haven't watched it. If it is on this list, you're wrong. And for those of you that say Itadori is a weak character, the next thing that spilled from my lips came from so deep in my gut that
it nearly made everything I've ever said feel like a lie. I will kill you.
Is the greatest line in anything ever. Dude, I was reading this shit, my hands were shaking. I thought he was talking to me, dude. That man's his hands. He doesn't care if you're bigger, stronger, get more bitches, get more money. He's scrapping. Many times to the death. I don't even gotta talk about the animation, man. Everybody knows it's fire. Everybody knows Mappa, the freaking slave labor they're doing there, works. Cause this shit bangs. What JJK did in a season, your favorite show could never. Alright? One Piece, forget about it. Dragon Ball, forget about it. Any of the old shows are not doing this shit in 10 episodes. It was so peak, just episode after episode was bang, bang. These animators were splashing threes from half court the entire season. Dude, Sukuna versus Volcano Head, the Gojo subway scene, freaking Toji Fushiguro coming out of the water, dude. Dude, maybe I'm glazing this shit, but Sakuna's voice.
I'll give you 1 second. Move.
Ugh! Dude, I'm like, the voices fit perfectly with the characters. Yes, I watched this shit in dub. Yes, it was still peak. Bro, the hidden inventory arc, you're watching Toji Fushiguro trying to chase these jujitsu sorcerer. You get to see Geto in action. You get to see Gojo in action. Dude, like, it's so y'all monkeys ain't listening, bro. Shibuya arc might be one of the greatest things to ever exist. Right after Hidden Inventory, which is also a banger. Dude, fucking Geto's choking himself because the soul hasn't left the body, even though the brain's changed. He's trying to exorcise the demon. No flaws, man. Animation banks, fight scenes bank. Name me one character that sucks in this show so I can destroy you in the comments. Every character belongs, every character does their job, it works, it bangs. Gojo, Geto, Sukuna, Toji, frickin' Toto. Toto, dude. Dude, this motherfucker shows up for 3 episodes and shows off the coolest power of all time. It's just wow. It's just wow. Dude, I always thought cosplaying was for losers, and my ass went in a cosplay, man, because of this show. My hair was blonde because of this show. You think that you think that they're gonna corner Gojo, then he freaking domain expansion, but not that fast, so it doesn't kill everybody. And then they're fighting the freaking lobster guy. Freaking Toji comes out, and then they get out of the portal. He kicks Megumi in the face, his own son. Then freaking Volcano Head kills 2 mans after you thought they just escaped. Shorty tries to take a picture of Sukuna slash dead. Dude, it's like just bang, 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 splash, splash, splash. Man gets his arm chopped off. Still clapping. Banger. The Sest of S tier. Probably my favorite anime. Speaking of MAPPA, another anime made by them. Look. This shit might be ass. Zenshu. Okay. It's about this animator shorty who eats like spoiled oysters or whatever, and she gets transported into her favorite show. And then she's like the strongest person in the show, because anytime something bad happens, her freaking animator stylist just starts ringing and says, "You gotta draw." And then there's freaking Sailor Moon ass animation that's the exact same every goddamn time she pulls out this pen, and she pulls it out a lot. It's like a 5-minute transformation, dude. It does the same joke every single time. Not it. This bitch just scribble knots her way past everything in this show. The last episode I watched, this shit's still coming out. So I haven't finished the first season, but because it's still coming out, I can't do anything about that. And you know, they got a little something. It's a little something. Like there's this one episode where they take a complete twist. The show's pretty like happy-go-lucky. You know, things are dying and like they fight battles, but it's not really anything crazy. But then they have this one episode where one of the characters in the party of the anime she found herself in is like a little crazy and does some like midsummer. She's in some cult that's like chanting, "We're gonna die, we're all gonna die." It's a little creepy and I didn't expect it. If they keep like surprising me with shit, maybe this will move. But only 5 episodes have come out. But they showed a bit of promise, so maybe this shit's gonna bang. I don't know. But for right now, kind of ass. And it's animated by the goats. I don't think MAPPA be taking any ass. They don't be reading the script of ass and say, "Yo, we're gonna slave labor this shit through." I think some of the animators would quit if this shit was too ass. But these angels be blessing us with peak. Okay? So maybe this shit bangs. But first 5 episodes, I wouldn't recommend it to many people. The jokes kind of fall flat to me too. It's not very funny. It's not very cute. Nothing really stands out. It's very just meh to me. The premise isn't even that cool. I guess if you really like scribble knots, then maybe it's cool. But she doesn't even take like creative approaches. She just makes big robot. Like, I don't know, man. You want to kill an alien race? Do it with a bunch of hot dogs or something. I don't know. Make it cool. Make it funny. Make it interesting. Not big robots stronger than every. King Kong kill all alien. Like, I don't know, man. Kakeguri. This is absolutely an I liked it, but I can see that it's probably garbage. This is about a school who they don't judge based on your academics, on how good at sports you are. They don't care about that. They care about your ability to gamble.
1, 2, 1.
For whatever reason, the president of the school is like most powerful people of all time. Maybe not of all time. There's probably more important people, but for her age group, bitch is pretty important. Speaking of, the president, the way she looks pleases my brain. Not in the like, I don't find her hot. I find her kind of scary. Or like kind of badass. I love the design of the character. If mans know me, I'm a gambler. So having an anime about gambling in the midst of my anime spree had to work on me. Had to. Guilty as charged. There's 2 seasons of this out so far. I've watched both in its entirety in Japanese because the English was not available. And basically this main shorty she's trying to gamble against the president. To get to the president, she's kind of got to beat the student council. Then maybe she'll get to play the president. And this shorty is like L versus Light, but it's this shorty versus everybody. So they basically, the student council is a bunch of cheating bastards. And they try to cheat out anybody who plays them. Basically, if you're playing them, you got no chance to win unless you're freaking Yumeko Jabami, or Jabami Yumeko. Okay, this shorty knows every trick in every book. David Blaine couldn't trick this bitch. She knows everything. And she loves the gamble. Me too, Yabami Jumeko. Or Jumeko Yamabi. Whatever. Jabami Yumeko. Got it right that time. It's good. I really like it. Especially the beginning, when the gambling is actually about gambling. Then they start doing like some crazy shit. And the crazy shit doesn't even bother me. But
That's all, folks.
It doesn't bother me that much. This show is a little too horny. And it kind of makes me uncomfortable sometimes. You could not watch this show with your grandmother by your side. Like, you got this bitch nutting because a man raised. But the show's pretty good. I like the characters slap. Even the weirdo ones slap. It's probably garbage. I could see that. But I really liked it. I could see mans thinking it's too over the top. Like, even for anime, it's just, it doesn't really make sense how over the top it is. Like, you got this fucking guy, Tenya Ida, aging 40 years because he lost a bet. Like, brother, it happens. I'm gonna be honest, I like the first season. Put it this way, it's like a sandwich of an anime. First bit of the show, pretty fire. Then you got a frozen patty, you know? It's alright, like, it's doable. Then they put the lettuce on the bottom so it soaks up all the patty juice, so now the lettuce is soggy. It's like, okay. But then, brioche bun on the bottom, and then under it, there's like a $5 bill, because what you haven't gotten through yet in the sandwich, the next season, looking pretty goddamn great. Looking like some potential greatness. This show is basically like, mans in the show are in on it, but you're not. You know? So it's like, they reveal things. It's supposed to be like a crazy reveal. Like, oh my god, how did this bitch get that? Like, I get the whole, we're discovering it. the same as other characters in the show, like what the trick is. But it's kind of like you would never know that. Like nothing indicates, even though they try to explain it sometimes, nothing indicates that that's what the trick was. This bitch be pulling out answers out of her ass most of the time. Like she's freaking Shorty and Zenshu who already watched the show and is telling you the answers now. However, I'm talking a bit of shit about it, but I liked it. Is it ass? Most likely. Alright. Now I don't want to hear shit. Alright. I'm gonna... Look, this is the one of the things I'm currently watching. For all you sports anime heads, you might think this guy is a dumbass for sure. Borderline special needs. And to you I say, watch it. Give it a try. I know the premise. The premise is these two baseball players, the best pitcher-catcher duo in their age group, maybe on the planet. Pros for sure. The catcher gets amnesia. I get it. I understand. Memory loss in a sports anime is cringe. But seeing a man not remember anything about baseball to getting his fire of competition back is gas. I don't care what anybody says. The guy who loses memory, his name is Kamui K. The Commander. Oh! What a fire name! He thinks baseball now is cringe. He used to be one of the GOATs, had even a fire nickname. But now he thinks baseball is lame, the uniforms smell, this shit sucks, blah blah blah. But then they play in a practice game and he gets scared to catch the ball after a pitch goes to his face. And then he starts practicing because he doesn't want to let the boys around him down. Yo, let me just put you on some peak. So this man, Haruka, his boy is Kamui K. Haruka's the pitcher, all right? And he refused to take any scholarships, go to any other schools if Kamui K wasn't going with him. K is his batter mate, no one else. So he refuses. They go to a public school because it's close to their house and no baseball there. Because K thinks that shit ass anyways. And Haruka throws away his entire career just to follow K because that's his dog. Real mans. Then they show up at this school. There's a kid who got his ass beat by them two at the peak of their powers. Then more mans from the old schools that got their asses beat come to the school. They quit baseball because of these two. And now the commander is nothing. He's a shell of his former self. But then a baseball club forms. Haruka's like, yo, this shit, fate. Yo, guy we destroyed back in the day, reach the club. Yo, K, sign your ass up. We'll all be friends here. They're practicing with these losers who thought they were ass, and then ding. You know the sound. If any man's play, you know that ding when they hit a ball nicely. These two other dudes from an old high school or from an old school that Kamui K commanded hear that shit, and they're like, "Yo, let me pull out. I hear the sound of my sport." But then they see Kamui K shelve his for himself. They start to play against like an elite school, and that's when the freaking hits his mask. Then he starts pride. Now we're back in the present where I started this story from. And now Kamui K, him practicing, makes the other dudes want to get better. And slowly but surely, there's moments where the muscle memory kicks in. Even though he doesn't remember nothing about baseball, but then he starts doing the gang signs, dude. He doesn't remember how to play baseball, but his body wouldn't forget. Toto forgot that, like, messed up in the game versus these two, and then he was never the same. So then he started his teammates were helping him practice, gain his confidence back. In baseball, wounds caused by failure can only be healed by successful plays. Peak writing! Toto's learning to be a shortstop again. Kamui K's learning to catch. The other characters in the show, gas. Toto, Shunpei, Yamada. Also, side note, because I just think this shit's jokes. But anytime Kamui K's doing some stupid shit, Haruka karate chops him and goes baka. Hilarious. It gets me every goddamn time. This shit almost had me signing up for another baseball league. Thank God I didn't. That sport is not very fun when people are bad. If your outfield blows, so I didn't sign up. But this show almost made me forget the hate I have for baseball. Not hate, but the PTSD I have from playing baseball. I also haven't finished it yet. I haven't finished the season because I'm currently watching it. So this shit could be ass, for all I know. I don't know. But for right now, this shit kind of bangs. It's not Haikyuu levels of sports anime. I get it. But it's pretty goddamn good. I lied. I just finished this anime and I feel betrayed. If you go into Oblivion Battery thinking you're gonna see some peak, greatest baseball anime of all time, Haikyuu levels of sports anime, then you are gonna be severely disappointed. This anime does not take itself too serious. There's a lot of jokes, but in my opinion, has a lot of peak mixed into it. I defended the amnesia trope, but this motherfucker came back. Kamui K became the commander again, and commanded. He was everything they talked about. Amazing teammate. Genius on the pitch. They were even looking at this man like he was a god. And then he fucking lost his memory in the same game. Fuck you. Do I look like a dickhead? So I'm dropping this. Down here. Only one, because I still think it's pretty jokes. I can't in good faith put this at like a pseudo B tier. I can't. Also, as a side note, at the end of the anime they previewed the next season, and I got to see Haruka as a youth. Adorable. I love him even more now. I fucking love children. So yeah, it's dropping a bit, but still peak. Saiki K. I'm gonna put this at don't like but could see it, but very high end of that. So this shit's about a kid who basically has every power known to man, with very little drawbacks, and his high school ass life. A lot of this shit was jokes. Dodgeball scene, if you know, you know, hilarious. The dad, every scene that guy's in, I'm crying of laughter. If he was a comedian, I'd be his biggest fan.
Take me and I'll bring you back a coffee jelly when I come home.
We're here.
What? We're already on the roof of my office? Thank you, Kusuo. Now my boss will slap me just 4 times instead of 5 times.
But a lot of it got kind of old. A lot of the characters have the same tropes. It's the same joke every time they're on the screen, and a lot of them aren't that funny. This shit gives me like Teletoon at Night vibes. Robot Chicken. It was on before Kappa Mikey and after Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I watched the entire first season because it was in English. I didn't watch season 2 because the English was not available. Not jumping at the opportunity to watch some more Saiki K. There are some banger episodes and some hilarity in this. And I understand in a show like this, not every episode's gonna bang. I get it. But it just wasn't me. If I were to go over to your house and you throw on some Saiki K while we're eating, you know, you might get a couple knee slaps out of me. Shit's jokes. But aside from that, it's just like, it's whatever. Chainsaw Man. This shit's gonna be in my A tier above Deadman Wonderland. Gas! Denji's motivations being so simple because of how shit his life is peak character design. Man just wants to grab some titties, brother, me too! This guy is a psychotic man. He fights his like new partner and he just starts smoking his nuts. Legit, every character in this show is its own brand of psycho, and it's amazing. They all work. I don't think there's a single character I actually don't like in this anime. Power's fucking jokes. Kishibe, Makima, peak. That evil, manipulative bitch is so peak. She even turns Denji back into a straight man. And when you finally get to see her powers, every second this bitch is on the screen, I feel like she's plotting. The designs of the characters and their devil forms, dude, peak. A chainsaw man fighting a katana man? The shark devil? Who's freaking swimming through solid objects? Dude, peak. Aki's power with the freaking wolf sign? Okay, I know this is the freaking, the aliens, but it does and then the wolf, yo, I was looking at this shit like, whoa. Also, and this is very hard for me to say, but it is a crime to watch this shit in dub. Very, very rare for me to say it, but it's so much better in Japanese. I think the English, the voices don't match the faces at all. This shit is gorgeous. Made by the goats. Also, the power scaling in this show, being that whatever devil you have, you get more power if people are scared of that devil. Peak. It's not like super high on my... It's at A tier, pretty goddamn high. But it's not super high on my shit because it's not the greatest, most peak thing I've ever seen. And there's only one season out, and I think that's a fault. Like, obviously not a fault for having one season. Like, I'm not a dickhead. But the next adaptation, so the next season of the anime is supposed to adapt what made Chainsaw Man Chainsaw Man. And I think after watching season 2, I'm going to appreciate season 1 a lot more. But for right now, season 1 just isn't all that. It's great. Phenomenal even. But it still has like a bit of things that keep it from S tier to me. Like it's not enough for an S tier right now. Maybe it'll pull a JJK and season 2 is gonna be like the peakest of peak, and this shit might go in my super S tier. I might have to make another tier for Chainsaw Man. But for right now, it's very comfortably at like the top of A. Very, very good. Oshinoko, you can say whatever you want about this show. Anything. You could have seen the reviews and see that this shit's ass. Why the fuck is this in your C tier? What are you doing? And to those people, I say watch the first episode. Don't treat this as an anime. Because I didn't. My ranking does not include the rest of the anime. Just the first. Treat this as a feature-length film. Get some popcorn, get a shorty or a man if that's what you're into, and watch this as a film. It's an hour and like 20 minutes long. Long enough. Because the rest of the anime blows. But that first episode hits so hard. The emotions I feel in that freaking episode are second to none. If I was just judging this entirety off the first episode, this shit would probably be your A. Not gonna lie. But I have to judge it as the anime, and the anime blows. But that first episode. So I think you should watch it. But if not, I'm about to spoil the shit out of it. So 5, 4, 3, 2. This story starts with this doctor. He's really into this pop group, this idol group. A little weird for a grown-ass man, but hey, no judging here. But his reasoning for liking it is actually pretty cute. There was this cancer patient who loved this group. And she died, and in honor of her, he still follows the group. Pretty cute. Respectable. Then, the main bitch, Ai, of this pop group, has children. But she's gotta go to a hospital that keeps it all hush-hush. Keeps it away from the tabloids. So she goes to my doctor's, my man's hospital. She's about to have her kid. He's kind of excited to see Ai, but he's not letting it go crazy, not letting it out. But then he goes for a little smoke break. Shorty's preggers, about to have the kid. She's wondering, where's the doctor? Then it goes to a shot of him chilling, taking a breath. And then he gets kicked off a cliff. And Shorty's like, yo, I'm about to have my kids. Where's my goddamn doctor? How's this shit gonna get delivered? But don't worry, you got medical professionals at this facility. They're delivering your child, no issues. Same day delivery. So they take out the kid. And what do you know? The doctor gets reincarnated into her child. But wait, there's another child coming out. It's the cancer kid. Peak! So then the show goes into this mom, you know, not really being a good mom because she's mad young. Goes into her doing shit with kids. She's pretty shit at it, but she's trying. So it's adorable. Her kids love her, that's all that matters. She's trying her best. She's out here giving her kids confidence. And then it gets into her life. About why she became a pop star. Her mentality of she doesn't actually feel too comfortable being a pop star because she doesn't like telling people she loves them when she doesn't. She's gone through a couple shit in her life, so she doesn't know how to express love. She hasn't even told her kids she loves them because she's scared she's not gonna mean it. She's scared it's gonna come out like to her fans. Then the doorbell rings. She thinks it's her manager at the door. Door opens. Stabbed! Stabbed! The freaking same psychopath who pushed the doctor off the cliff stabs this bitch, calling her a slut, a bitch, a whore. How can you have kids? You told us you loved us, you lying piece of shit. But uh-oh! Fuckface, she remembered you. And she wasn't lying. To her, lying was love. She was trying to love you. And then he's going like, oh shit, oh zoinks. What am I doing? She's actually a good person. And then she's out there dying. She's at the door dying. This guy scurries off like the rat he is. Her kid's holding her in his arms, and she finally says, I love you. And she meant it. I was in tears, man. I didn't expect this bitch to die. She's on the cover. However, that's all the peak there is in the show. It squeezed the last drop of peak juice into that one episode. Because the rest of this shit is like this kid, the kid who held her while she was dying, trying to friggin' find out who killed her. So he's joining the acting world, friggin' trying to get the ins and outs. Lame. The other characters in this show, super lame. The only plus I give to this show is the brother-sister relationship is actually pretty jokes. It's mad authentic. But yeah, the rest of the shit, super ass. But I thought that first episode was pretty goddamn good. Barakamon. I'm gonna put this shit at B tier. And this is the highest show that I have not finished. And that should tell you enough. I have not finished this show. So it could be higher. This shit is very adorable. It's about this calligrapher who gets banished to an island because an art guy told him his shit sucked and he punched him in his face. And then you get to see him get better at his craft while he's on this banished island. And then he's interacting with the other people on the island. There's this kid Naru, mad cute, breaks his walls down. When Naru freaking apologizes to him and tells him that he was trying to do his own calligraphy, adorable, dude, adorable. It kind of gives me like Spy Family vibes. Like that's the feeling. The feeling you get while watching Spy Family is the same feeling you'd get while watching this show. Just lighthearted, just a bit of fun. One of my favorite scenes in the show is this one dude who his family is the one feeding our calligrapher boy, and he's cheesed. He's like, bro, this guy's a loser, this guy's a leech. I'm tired of giving this guy my food, bro. Tired. Y'all made chicken potatoes, that's my favorite meal, and y'all giving him half, bro. What about me? He's cheesed. But then one of the times he goes to bring him his food, Naru shows him his closet. And then the dude sees all the calligraphy on the walls. Thousands of pages. And he's looking at this shit like, yo, this shit mad peak. But then he realizes, yo, this shit is ass to our calligrapher guy. He's actually a hard worker. He's not just talent. And it changes his mindset on the guy completely. And he actually ends up kind of liking him. I don't have a lot to say about this because I watched like 5 episodes. I don't remember why I dropped it originally. Not because it's bad. But this is like one of the early animes I watched. I guess I was watching it like in a call or like with my shorty. I don't know. But I was watching the shit and I just stopped watching for some reason. And I never picked it back up again. So from what I remember, it was great. It was slightly worse than Spy Family. I don't know. I didn't finish it for some reason, so that's gotta take it down a couple notches in my IMO. Demon Slayer. Look, some of y'all gonna hate. I get it. But this shit is S tier only because it is maybe the most motivated I have ever been watching something. I don't know why. What this man, Tanjiro, was willing to do for his sister, I just like, he's going through mountains, swinging a sword, doing the most, dodging near-death experience just to save his sister, and I'm looking at myself like, damn, Alex, you can't even get out of bed some days. What are you doing? You gotta be more like Tanjiro. I don't know what it is about him. I don't be enjoying super positive-ass characters. I like when there's a bit of doubt in them, when I could see a bit of myself in the character. But for whatever reason, I felt like the other mans in the Demon Slayer Corps watching this guy. There's this scene where he's freaking fighting the Snake Hashira, and all the mans in the Demon Slayer Corps are like, dude, this guy's motivating me. He's boosting our morale. I'm seeing this guy give it his all. Why don't I give him my all? And I feel like I'm part of the Demon Slayer Corps just watching this guy. I feel like I'm right beside him saying like, dude, right, alive? And he's not even the most peak character in the show. Rengoku. The man's face to face with the demon gives him a challenge. Yo, kill me before I slit this bitch's head off. And Rengoku's like 10 meters away from him. And Rengoku's like, you know what? Fuck it, I accept your challenge. Swing, I win. And then he dies mad heroically. God, this is also maybe the most beautiful looking anime I've ever seen. Man's opinions can be different, I understand. But this shit is beautiful. The demons, wow. I'd be looking at this shit like, oh, wow, oh. It's gorgeous. This almost ruins other animes for me, because I'm like, yo, they don't look like this. They don't make them like Demon Slayer. Speaking of peak design, Nezuko, baby Nezuko, is maybe the cutest thing I've ever seen in an anime. No bullshit. When she's freaking running, there's a bitch trying to kill her and she's freaking running like an airplane. Adorable. I am giggling every time I see this bitch. I don't know, man. Listen, it's gas to me. Not my favorite shonen, but this deserves S tier simply because of how motivated I was watching this shit. Simple as that. I don't actually like... no bullshit, don't like half of these characters. I don't like 90% of the characters, if I'm being honest. But that first training bit with Tanjiro, just, dude. I started eating healthier. I started working out a little more. Man like me is taking multiple vitamins, dude. Shout out Progressive because of this anime. So yes, it's an S tier. Because it affected me deeply. It tickled a part of my brain that's like motivating. That's like, dude, you can do this. You can be like Tanjiro. So, S tier, in my opinion. Dog Signal. You know what? I'm gonna put this shit here. A lot of y'all might not know about Dog Signal, so let me put you on. This show's about a guy who breaks up with his shorty. She gives him the dog, because she's like, yo, I can't handle this shit. That shit's a freaking yappy dog. The ones that you put in your purse, the ones that bark every time even if you're being nice to it, piece of shit dog, annoying ass. And this dog's gonna get the poor guy evicted, because he's like, yo, I'm never taking care of a dog. What the hell am I supposed to do with this? And he keeps barking, and the dude's like driving him crazy. So he goes to this fucking Caesar Milan guy. Caesar Milan with a bit of screws loose. The guy teaches him how, he wants to learn how to freaking make sure his dog is chilling. So the dude's like, alright, after watching him for a bit. He goes, put this collar on. And the dude's like, huh? So he puts the collar on. And then Caesar Milan freaking yanks the chain. And he's like, dude, what's wrong with you? Are you insane? And he's like, yeah, that's how your dog feels, ya dick. And then the main character's like, whoa. That shit hurt. And that must be how my dog feels. That's why he goes all yappy crazy. Because I'm choking him. I'm not actually helping the situation. I'm just choking him when he's being a bad boy. Why would I do that? And then after that realization, he's like, yo, I'm going to become your apprentice. You get to see the life of a dog trainer. Goes to other people's houses, helps them with their issues with their dogs. Yo, mad cute. I love the situations they find themselves in. Yo, this shit has those moments like in sports anime where they actually teach you about dog training. They give you some good tips. If you like dogs, you'd like this. You get to see the trials and tribulations of dog trainings. Like families not pitching in, certain mans being scared of their dogs. And you get to see his life, why he became a dog trainer. Adorable, by the way. His mom is a bitch. Him and his dad's relationship, mad cute. So I don't know, man. If you have a dog, or you watch those videos of like a dog going to the shelter, and then the doctor's trying to like get him to eat, or get him to allow petting time, then you'd like this. It's adorable. Think of it like Haikyuu, but for dog training. It's actually good as fuck. And it might even teach you a bit about your own dog. But I'm currently watching this. I'm on episode 6, so it could be garbage. I understand that. But for right now, it's pretty goddamn great. And adorable, dude. I'm rooting for these families with their dogs. I'm hoping they instill the lessons taught by this dude. And he's a good-ass dog trainer. He's a bit of a dick and a bit crazy and doesn't actually like doing his job. But you can tell he loves dogs and wants the best for them and the best for their lives. And it's adorable. I love it. I love doggies. I've been wanting a dog since I was a youth, so of course I'm gonna love it. The target audience was me, and it worked. I finished this yesterday. This morning, actually. So this is very fresh in my mind. This might be, like, one of the worst opinions I have. And I understand. I'm actually gonna put it lower than Saiki K. This show's about a doctor who's set for life. He's got the director's good graces. He's dating the director's freaking daughter. Top surgeon. All mans know this guy's nice with it. But then there's this moment where he's about to operate on a man, but then like the freaking president of Burger King comes, and the director's like, yo, this man gives us mad money in donations. You gotta operate on him first. And the doctor's looking at him like, a little, like, I don't know, this doesn't feel right. This man was here first. I should operate in order of patience. But the director's like, nah, go do that. And he has to go do that, because that's his boss. But then the lady, whose husband that was on that table, he dies, because there's no other doctor as good as him. And then she's like, why didn't you operate on him, you piece of shit? And then he's all complete. He's like, dude, I know it was wrong. I vow to never do that again. And then the next time he's faced with that opportunity, he says, fuck that. I'm going to operate on this kid that got shot. You know, honorable man. Great guy, Dr. Tenma is. Dr. Tenma. So I gotta say it like that every time. Because there's this inspector that says it like that, and I think it's amazing. But the man the kid he saves ends up being like the second coming of Hitler, and he kills a bunch of people in the hospital. Nuts. Great premise. Dr. Tenma, fire character. Mans talk about aura, but he doesn't have aura like he's badass or sick. He has aura of a good man. His patients love him. His patients, they be accusing him of murder, and mans are like, Dr. Tenma? No chance. No way. I'd put my life on Dr. Tenma not being the murderer. I think everyone who goes through med school aspires to be Dr. Tenma. This man goes... one of his patients is talking about a cuckoo clock. The man's going out for lunch with a coworker. He sees the cuckoo clock in the window, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna go buy that for my mans. Adorable. He sees this little kid talking about, oh, he just wants a soccer ball. That would make him the happiest kid on earth. And he just goes and buys a soccer ball for the youth. Great guy. Speaking of the youth with the soccer ball, Dita. GOAT. My favorite character in the series, the next Ronaldo. Just wants to play some freaking footy. Adorable character, loyal as fuck. Dude was unlucky from birth getting placed with this dickhead and still turns out to be the GOAT. Anyways, the story's fire. I love the setting of post-Berlin Wall Germany. And with every episode, you get a picture as to how this place looked. Post-World War. Post-Hitler. And the fucking psychos that emerged from Hitler ran Germany. You get to see his bitch wife get screwed over time and time again. She kind of redeems herself towards the end, but she's a bitch through and through. It's fire to see her fail. Fire. Then you got the kid, Johan. He's insane. Every time he's on the screen, you get a feeling of unease. You don't know what this kid's about to do. Most of the time, if you see him on the screen with another character, that character will die. Like, there's a point where this guy is in, like, a testing facility for children, and then he convinces all the kids to just start killing themselves. Not seppuku, literally killing each other. And he's just watching all of this from the top of the stairs on a throne, like a devil. They got other drip characters. Grimer. He's a journalist that went through the same bullshit that Johan went through. He gets tortured and takes it like a champ. He has an alter ego, the Magnificent Steiner. He says sometimes when the going gets tough, he just closes his eyes and the Magnificent Steiner saves him. But it's just him going berserk. Inspector Runge, fire character. Even though he was wrong about Tenma, he apologizes to him at the end. And I'm talking a lot of gas about this show, cause it was. But now I gotta keep it real. I feel like people want to like Monster. The like is forced. For the second and third quarter of this show, it dragged. I feel like it did not need to have the amount of characters it did. The amount of storylines, the amount of shit they tried to make us care about, but I really didn't. And after all that bullshit, the ending wasn't even satisfying. The fucking big twist that it was actually his sister Anna who went to the Red Mansion where they read the creepy stories and Johan went to Kinderheim wasn't that great. It helps explain the character a little. They allude to the fact through Grimer that the kids who went to Kinderheim often took on personas. And the kids who did that also tended to be crazy violent. So it makes sense that Johan turned into the way he did. He took his sister's trauma, made them his own. The poor kid was forced to dress as his sister to hide the fact that his mother had twins, which probably fucked him up even more. So the fact that the mother had to choose which kid to give up. And the way she goes about making the decision makes Johan think like, yo, did she mistake the kid she sent off? And yo, I'm making sense of it, but there's so many fucking plot holes in this show. We don't know what the fuck happened to these two kids in this drawer. And if his whole thing is about being the last youth standing, the last man standing, why does he let this guy live? And they just let literally the second coming of Hitler escape from the hospital. This is the only anime on this list I had to watch videos of after, because I was just lost. Like, why did people like this so much? And I'm even more confused. Cause every video, they're contradicting each other. Motherfuckers be making 3-hour-long videos on Monster, completely dodging over factors just to make sense of it. I don't understand. Motherfuckers be calling this their favorite anime, and they didn't get it. It felt like a lot of bullshit to go through for no ending. Because Johan escapes. So what's to stop him from just doing it again? Sure, Mans can say frickin' Anna forgiving him breaks the cycle, but I don't think it does. You don't just stop going crazy. The man thought he was his sister. And sure, your sister can forgive him, but he killed like 10 million people. A lot of them mad innocent. And if Johan has all these feelings about his mom maybe making the wrong decision, how, you're telling me he's not gonna feel the same way about his sister? Maybe she's just saying this to get me to stop, and then he's gonna go crazy again? And I get certain stories just not having happy endings. I completely understand that. But this didn't even have an ending. And I'll be the first one to tell you, maybe I'm too stupid to understand this. To understand how peak it is. But in my opinion, if I have to imagine what happened to half of these characters, I think it's stupid. That's not the end of a story. That's just lazy. Stop sitting on the fence making us imagine what happened. Pick an ending. You're the author. Like, I don't get it. It's like reading a book and then the last chapter is just blank pages. You gotta make it yourself. So I don't know, man. Great premise. I enjoyed it for the most part, but it dragged. And I feel like the dragging was not worth what the end was. So, this shit is my pseudo D tier. I would not recommend this to anyone. Nor would I ever watch this again. You know what? Just for that fact, I'm putting it at meh. I just convinced myself. Because I can't see why people like this. And there's no way you're watching this multiple times. No chance. And if you are, you might be Johan. The show found its target audience. Congrats. Food Wars peak. I used to watch Hell's Kitchen religiously. I'd stay up past my bedtime just to watch the newest episode, screaming at my TV because this motherfucker doesn't know what chicken tastes like. This shit Hell's Kitchen, but 1v1, and in anime form, and also very anime horny. So, which might throw some people off, I understand. It threw me off the first couple episodes, I'm not gonna lie. This is also something I'm currently watching, but it basically follows this kid Suma. He's a fire cook, but his dad is even better. And they have these little cooking competitions. The dad's winning 400-0. And then his dad just decides to fuck off and sends his kid to a freaking culinary school. I love how the chefs all think Suma is a loser. He's broke. But then actually, after having tasted his food, they give him his props. Instead of being salty that they lost. Almost everyone. There's one bitch who just can't give it to him. But my absolute favorite thing about this show is the creative approaches it takes to food. And the techniques it presents. And it legit has good tips. Like in the very beginning, he cooks this rice with seasoning. And there's egg on top of it. But he also incorporates this like jelly gravy squares that melt when you combine the hot egg and the rice. And then it makes this like sauce that seeps into. It looks so fun. Like I was biting at my screen. This shit makes me want to try things in the kitchen. Making whole meals. I want to make things that don't just have one direction. I want to make things that combine flavors and flavor profiles so you can have an experience. Like because of this show, I made this mango pandan sticky rice. And it's not even that elaborate. It's not that crazy. But it was my first time experimenting with a journey in a bite. The sweetness of the mango ice cream and the rice mixed with the pandan sauce complement the sourness of the unripe mangoes. While the heat profiles are completely different. The mango's like room temperature friggy. The ice cream is frozen. The pandan rice is hot. So when you're eating it, you go through a temperature journey and a flavor journey. It's the first dish I've ever made where you have an experience in your mouth. It's not just the flavor that gives you the pleasure. It's the experience. Sorry, I'm going a little overboard. I'm not even talking about the anime. But it motivates me to want to try more in cooking. And for that reason alone, it's an anime about cooking. I love cooking, and clearly I'm a bit of an anime freak nowadays. But I'm watching this shit currently, so I don't have that much to talk about. This shit hyping me up to cook. I want to do a bunch of the recipes in the show and try some of that shit out. GTO. I'm going to put it at the end of B tier. This shit about an ex-gang leader and current perv, Onizuka. And he just wants to be a teacher because he thinks he'll get to teach a class full of high school baddies. This show is made in 1999 and it is very 1999. Every dude in the show is a perv on some level. However, you can't help but fall in love with the perv, Onizuka. He's just a dude. And he does whatever he can to help people around him. And you can tell that he actually tries his best. A lot of the methods he takes are a little insane, but he's just sick. He's a shitty person in a lot of aspects, but you can't help but root for him. You can't help but be happy for him and happy for the people around him that have him in his life. I like the way that this show handles a lot of its darker themes. It has so much heart, and it's funny. It's jokes. Like very early on, I think episode 2, Onizuka is doing his interview and man's not gonna get the job. But then after the interview, these delinquents come into the school and they're about to beat the principal's ass who just gave him his interview. And then Onizuka's like, yo, hey, guys, why don't you go home, freaking kick rocks, leave this poor man alone. But then the poor man starts chirping over his shoulder, saying, yeah, you freaking losers, you trash. And then Onizuka's like, hold up, I was a delinquent. You're calling me trash? And then he grabs him and takes him to Suplex City. And then he ends up getting the teacher job because the principal was really a lunch lady helping out the lunch people. Onizuka just reminds me of that teacher that you'd never forget. The one that was a bit off their rocker, maybe could have got fired for some of their practices, but you knew they actually cared. He reminds me of my French teacher. I was a moron in class, but she would actually take the time to get to know me. She'd appreciate my work when I did something good. She'd guide me in directions to get better at whatever I was trying to do. And even years later, a homie of mine tried to reach out to her, and in the email back she goes, yo, how's Alex doing? Do you still keep in contact with him? GOAT! That's a bitch that cares. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you a bitch. I love you. It really reminds me of that, and maybe that's why I like it so much. I think it's a feel-good anime, but it's a little more, like, serious. Even though it's not serious at the same time, but it has heart. But, similar to Barakamon, and I promise this is not a theme amongst my B tiers, is I didn't finish GTO. I don't know why. I watched about half of this anime and then dropped it. Not because it was bad or anything, I just started watching other things. I started watching One Piece, if I'm being honest. So I just never went back to it because God only knows how long One Piece is. And I like the way Onizuka just like, he sees the good in a person. Like there's this loser kid who's like a nerd, gets bullied, whatever. But Onizuka doesn't see him as the nerd. He sees him as a dude who's good at video games. He takes the positive out of the entire picture of a person. And that's pretty gas, in my opinion. I liked it. Again, unfortunately, I didn't watch a lot of it. Well, I watched half. If you like things that came out in the 2000s, you often see yourself going back to them, saying things like, they don't make them like they used to. These snowflakes couldn't handle this type. You'd absolutely like GTO. I'm not saying that that's the target audience, but your ass would definitely enjoy this. Solo Leveling is so peak. So peak. It's a dungeon crawler anime based on a manhwa, but I watched it in English. It's an anime where people can explore dungeons, and the people who can do that are called hunters. Hunters have a rank, so do dungeons, and you need a party to go to dungeons for the most part. And our story follows the S-tier hunter, Jinnu. Everybody knows he's the most garbage hunter, the weakest hunter of all time. Also, hunters aren't chosen. They're given their powers from birth. So like you can't be better. Whatever you got is what you got. The beginning is this man going into a dungeon. They bring him along to even out the rank so they can actually conquer this dungeon. And it's an S tier. And everyone dies. Not everyone, but a lot of people die. And our boy's about to die. He dies. And then there's a screen. It's like a video game screen. I'm like, oh. And then he wakes up in a hospital. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then another screen comes on. Another video game-like screen. And it's like, do 100 push-ups to level up. So he's the first hunter who can level up solo. So then he just starts leveling up. And this dude ends up being like the strongest person on Earth. I understand. Some people have their qualms that this guy never gonna lose. He's got plot armor up the ass. But I disagree. I don't think he actually has a lot of plot armor. It's not like Dragon Ball where they could just go to frickin' Big Dragon Shenron and say, yo, revive this guy, please. It's not like that kind of plot armor. So there's a little bit of stakes, I think. And this shit, like, mans be wanting too much. They can't enjoy the thing for being the thing. This is just gas. This show is hands. The fight scenes are all gas. This shit is gorgeous to look at. The fight choreography is beautiful. It's not just freaking close-ups of a guy swinging a sword and then it goes to another shot of a guy blocking. No, they're literally fighting in real time. You see the pan out and they're fighting. It's gas. There's this moment where Mans don't know that he can level up now, and he gets called to this dungeon with freaking this team, this strike force. They're like, yo, don't worry about it. We're good enough to clear this easily. But Jinu's looking at it like, yo, why don't they have healers? And why do they always need two mans? Cause they're dickheads. So they trap Jinu and the other guy that they got in the dungeon because they need a certain amount of people to clear a dungeon. And then when they die, the team's just gonna come back in, take their share of the loot, and then just say, oh shit, dude, sorry, so man's died, it happens. It's a dangerous job out here. But when they come back in, Jinu's still alive. They're like, how the fuck did you survive this? And then he's like, you left me for dead. You'll pay. And then he kills all of them. Is he aura farming this entire show? Yes. Is it gas? Yes. At the end of season 1, I'm looking at this shit like, he turned into like a monster reborn. A necromancer. I was kind of like, okay, this is pretty lame. But then season 2 comes out, I was blown out of the water. I can admit when I'm wrong. Necromancer is fire. Season 2, there's no edging. It's straight hands, episode after episode. It's just another punch. A peak punch. Every time I get hit with it, it's just peak, 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 peak. The monsters are all drip. There's no more freaking wave 10 monsters where they don't say any word. They're talking now. They're intelligent. These monsters got lip for our boy Jinu. They got some attitude, and I like it. The Monster Reborn shit is fire. Arise. Yes! He's fighting the ice elves. The man starts talking, giving him lip. Then he starts fighting the orcs. The orcs have a Spanish accent. I go look into it, it's J Balvin. You know, the guy that makes gas! And all mans are looking at, dude, every shorty in the show's in love with this guy, and I get it. If I was a shorty, I'd want him too. And the last episode that got released, he gets reawakened, and they change his rank to S tier. Now everyone knows. Everyone knows he's the 10th S tier in frickin' Korea. I can't wait to see more. It's so good. I don't know how people hate on this. Just enjoy it for what it is. Just enjoy the fights. When you're watching UFC, you watch John Jones, you already know he's gonna win, but you watch anyways, cause it's John Jones, he's peak. Jinu's peak. Jinu Jones. Just treat it like that, and you'll get more appreciation in your life. If you just enjoy it for what it is. It's peak. So A tier. Very high A tier. Speaking of very high, Hunter x Hunter. The only thing that keeps the shit out of S tier is that 3rd season. God damn, I hated that shit. It was ass. I got to see a little more Killua, which is fire. We don't know that this kid ever had a sister. And then now she's like this god that can help save Gon. I feel like it's a little bullshit, I'm not gonna lie. However, this shit is super A tier. Gon might be my favorite pro tag in anime. And the relationship between him and Killua is the greatest 1-2 punch in history. Eggs and bacon. Jelly jam, or peanut butter and jelly, Gon Killua. And him and Killua's relationship just being started off of, is that a skateboard? That shit's drip. And then Killua's like, yo, is that a fish you want? Can you teach me how to fish? And like, friends, instantly. There's other fire characters in this show. Razor? The guy spiked, like he's Oikawa, spiked a bomb into a boat. Hisoka, I can't tell if Hisoka's drip or not. And Bungee Gum makes me even more confused. But Gon is the selling point of this show for me. He's doing a pinky promise with his aunt. And then he goes, and seal it with a kiss. Haha. And then he does a smile. I knew I'd fall in love instantly.
My eye. And seal it with a kiss.
And I I love Gon's mentality of just go in, ask questions later. No plan, just vibes. And him never wanting to give up, but also not wanting to win in an unswag way. This character was made for me. Chimera Ant arc might be one of the greatest arcs in anime. Miriam? Peak! His relationship with the Gongi player, and at the end when he dies, he goes, I just wanted to play Gongi with you. That was my final wish. I was crying, dude. My eyes were filled with tears. Filled. The old man versus Miriam, their fight? Gon using all of the nen he'd ever have to beat Neferpito? And Neferpito's a baddie. I don't care if they say she's a guy. She's a woman in my heart. She's beautiful to me. My only issue with that arc is now Kite is a shorty. Like a shorty that looks like she disobeys her parents on the regular. I wasn't feeling that. I like Kite's design. If you wanted to kill him off, just kill him off. Don't do this reincarnation bullshit. And let's not forget to mention, Gon's entire thing is seeing his dad, meets his dad, Gene Freaks is a deadbeat. I just want what I can't have. Ladies, if your man ever says that, I don't care about the context, leave him. You deserve better. And it makes me so depressed that that's the last thing I see of the anime, and might be the last ever thing I see of that anime. Apparently the freaking guy doing the anime, he got sick or something, or he's not doing okay. I hope that guy gets better. Don't even worry about the anime, brother. You gave us peak. Just worry about getting better. But yeah, this shit is adorable, bro. I love Gon. Every scene he's in, I'm pogging. I'm bad in my chest. I love this youth. If I'm honest, I don't care a crazy amount about any of the other characters, if I'm being honest. It's just Gon. Gon is so high above everyone else, except maybe Killua. Killua is pretty high up there too. Kurapika? I wasn't sure if that was a dude or a shorty for like the first 3 episodes. The name ends in an A, girl equivalent. The voice doesn't really help. The look of the character doesn't really help. Until someone called him a he, I was lost. Shit peak though. Shit peak though. I'll tell you that. It's peak though. Gurren Lagann. Man, oh man. Those of you who know me know Kamina is in my top 3 of anime characters ever. I don't have it ordered, but he's in that top 3. He's so drip. The believe in the you that believes in me. Let's see you grit those teeth. Even the moment where he takes off the mask and reveals he's actually scared, but people are counting on him, so he has to put on the face that he's brave. Peak! The first time I watched this anime, I watched it until the Spiral King died, because that's what Kamina wanted, and I dropped the show after. That was story enough. His rivalry with Viral, try to say that 5 times fast. Rivalry with Viral. A bad guy who has morals. Like, this man didn't want to kill a man in an unhonorable way. And he had like the saddest moment in the show where he's playing with his daughter, then he sees Simone flying across the sky and realizes it isn't real. So that's it. And I was having such a sappy dream. Ooh, the heartstrings, dude. Back on comment. Dude, his design is he just goes in, believes in his boy. I think what makes him so sick is he's the person we all want to be. He boosts the morale of everyone around him. And he's so captivating on the screen, man. He's like a young Leonardo DiCaprio. Every time he's on the screen, my eyes are on him only. And then when he dies, dude, I'd be so serious. Because they kind of tickle your balls with his death. It looks like he's gonna die, and then they do the anime freaking plot armor on him. But then he's good enough for the rest of the fight. But then he actually dies. Dude, the emotional roller coaster I was going on. When I first started dying, I was grabbing my screen. No! Please! Don't take my Kamina! And then he lives and I'm like, oh, dude. And then he actually dies. I'm like, no, dude. No. Dar, I was like Simone. I had to take a few hours before I kept watching. I couldn't believe it. Dude, it was a part of me dude, like, when you have someone in your life that just believes in you, has an unyielding belief in you, you can do anything. And it's, oh dude, it hurt. It hurt. That was the first death in an anime that I was like, man. Actually, not the first. The second death in anime. That was like, wow. How does the show even go on? And also, I gotta give Gurren Lagann some props. To kill off your best character in the first couple of episodes takes enormous balls. And then for the show to actually still be good, for some people, we'll get into that. Now we're gonna get into it. I'm one of the few people who doesn't like Simo. And look, I read about it, I've told my friends about it, and they all think I'm insane. They just disagree. They ask me why I don't like him, and I don't wanna get all introspective. It felt like I just didn't like it. I didn't rate the guy. But then I did a little bit of digging. I was trying to think about, truthfully, why does nobody else seem to have this opinion like I do? And there's a couple things. To me, it's actually the other people in the show that make Simone stand out. He's like the raw avocado, okay? No seasoning, no onion, no cilantro. But then you put those things in, the salt, the lime, the cilantro, and then it becomes Pog. But not because of just the avocado. It's the other things that make him sick. He's not sick on his own. And I'm gonna get a little cringe for a sec. But if I'm honest, I think the thing I like about him the least is how much I see myself in Simone. The need of having someone that believes in me, I need to have that in my life. To even have like a bit of belief in myself. And for some reason, I get a bit of jealousy. It like weirdly affects me to see him fight past the hole he's dug himself into. He becomes a man he'd be proud to introduce to the person that means the most to him. And I'm not there myself. It ruins my enjoyment of Simone because I can't see an Alex in the development of Simone. It's weirdly throws me off. Having a person who like literally changed your life just be ripped away from it. And then having to just figure it out on your own, I don't have that, I don't think. This anime is amazing, but to me, I never get to fully enjoy it after Kamui dies. Not that the rest of it is bad, but I don't get that same level of emotion after his death. A little too emotional. And we have our first ass, Ninja Kamui ass, and I'm going to explain why. This anime is literally John Wick, The Equalizer. If you've seen that, you've seen this anime. I watched one episode. It looks okay. Fight scenes look pretty cool. But the main guy had this look to him. He looked like Zeke from Attack on Titan. And then at the end of the episode, he takes off this like digital mask, and then he looks like Sun Jin Woo. And I don't know what it is, it just throws me out. I'm not going to be lied to. I refuse. So I didn't watch another episode. Ass tier. Kuroku no Basket. I did not like this, I'll be honest. I think I went into it thinking it was going to be something that it wasn't. This is superheroes playing basketball. One of the main guys in the story, his thing is he's so bland and boring that he gets lost on the court. Like you could look like you're throwing the ball to out of bounds, and then it becomes a 1-2. But it becomes a 1-2 because nobody sees the guy, even though he's there. He's just so bland and boring that nobody cares about him. There's another man who can't miss a 3. I don't know, man. It was a little too much for me. Funnily enough with this anime is, and maybe the reason why I dropped it and why I didn't like it as much, is I started watching this when I was extremely sick and had a crazy headache. And I was trying to sleep, but I couldn't watch anything. Opening my eyes was hurting my head. So I put on this anime, put it beside me while I laid down, closed my eyes, and just listened to the anime. So I didn't know what any character looked like. I didn't know nothing about nothing. And I watched about maybe 7 or 8 episodes until I fell asleep. I even started laughing at one point because in my sick state, I was just wondering what these characters look like. And then this man comes in,
Generation of miracles defeated.
and then I started laughing because I know exactly what he looks like. But so maybe listening to the first episodes, when I tried to rewatch it, it just like it was so boring to me. I could understand why people like it. People who don't take it seriously will probably enjoy this. But I think I tried to take it serious, and it made me really dislike this anime. This is written by the same dude who did Monster. You know what? I'll actually put this above Monster, in my opinion. This anime is basically a dark take on an Astro Boy arc. It's a world where humans and robots are all kumbaya. Mysteriously, these powerful-ass robots, like the most sophisticated robots in the world, they start dying one by one. And then we follow another one of those robots, Gazekt, as he tries to figure out what's going on with it. That premise sounds drip, honestly. And it was. Gazekt's entire story, his arc, fire. But then they started adding Adam and his sister. And then they had like a little thing with these WWE robots. It's just, I don't know, man. Some characters in the show are drip. Brow? He's like this evil robot who was the first robot that killed a man. Badass. Voiced amazingly. Every scene he's in, you think some craziness is about to happen. The ending blows. Gazekt dying, when he died, I was like, yo, that was peak. But that was the only peak of the show. But, there was one more. Similar to Oshinoko, the first episode of this show is the best episode in the series. The very first episode shows this robot who's one of those sophisticated ones, North Number 2. He becomes the butler for this old composer. And this composer, mad racist towards robots. He hates them. He's an old bastard, so of course he's racist. But then the robots don't have like feelings and stuff, but he wants to learn music. Because he used to be a war machine, but now he wants to chill out. He wants to learn something. So he asks the composer to teach him. The composer's like, nah. But then the butler sees him freaking sleeping and he's humming a melody and the composer's trying to get this melody into the song but it doesn't work. But then the North Number 2 remembers that he did that, so he goes to the village and tries to figure out what the melody is. And then he finds the melody. Oh, dude, I was crying at how peak this was. The emotions this episode filled me with, man, great episode. Great. And then the old man, like North Number 2 goes to fight the big bad guy, and then the man's like, North Number 2, where are you? And then he sees him as a son, and then he starts, ah. Oh. And he's blind, so he can't see that North Number 2 is not, oh. It was so peak. But the only Gazek dying was the only other good part. The big bad guy was the reveal that there was this teddy bear behind the whole thing. Ass. They did a good job at tackling racism and prejudice and freaking PTSD. They portrayed all of that phenomenally, honestly. But I just didn't care about anything. I don't care about the doctor that sees him as his son. I don't. I fault this anime because of the ridiculously high standard it's set in the first episode. And the middle of it, this anime, is pretty whatever. It's like a similar to Monster, where a bunch of storylines just link at the end. It does it, in my opinion, better than Monster does. It's faster. But the middle's still ass. Like, I don't enjoy it. And it's not because it's taking like too long to explain. It's just boring. Like, it's too many things happening to ever expand on one story. Like, you don't get enough out of the other stuff because there's too many. It's making it more complicated than it needs to be. Not complicated, maybe it's the pacing. The thing I give this above Monster is the execution at the end was a bit better than Monster was. But still was like, it seemed like it was all for naught. I don't feel satisfied watching the end. Whether it's a good ending or a bad ending is fine, but there's just bullshit. Like, the ending's just so whatever. One Piece, let me make this very clear. I think this is the greatest piece of media to ever exist. From Water 7 on. Before that, not that great. And listen, y'all can say whatever you want. One Piece been peak. One Piece's peak at episode 1. Not true. It's so long. Alabasta, not that great. Arlong Park, not that great. And I liked, though. I'm one of the few people who actually enjoyed that. But it is ass. However, from Water 7 on, this is the greatest piece of media of all time. However, it takes like 300 episodes to get there. So I gotta knock it down a few points. The intros to everybody, to all the characters, getting to know their life stories is drip. Is great. Takes too long. Way too long. One Piece is also the greatest thing of all time of making me care about side characters. A majority of the characters I like in the show are all side characters. I actually don't even like a lot of the Straw Hats, but every single character they put even a bit of attention to is just peak. But another reason that this shit is an S tier is a lot of the main characters I don't care about. Luffy, Zoro, great. Usopp, my favorite Straw Hat. Jinbei, swag. Robin, great. But then I get to Sanji. And I love Sanji. Dude, you saw my opinion on Food Wars. Cooking, you already have me. But his kryptonite being baddies, look, I get it. I'm the same way, brother. But it's just a little cringe sometimes. It's a little too much. Nami's storm tempo will never be cool. That shit is whack till the day I die. Brook? Yo! Every time I hear that, I want to rip my hair out. Every single time. His panty joke? Hilarious, though. Every time I hear it, I laugh. There's a serious moment happening in the show. I just have one question. Can I see your panties? It jokes. Hilarious. Chopper is literally, and I'm not kidding, my least favorite character I have ever seen in anything ever. I hate him. Every time he's on screen, I'm skipping. They try to make his doctor I'm a doctor! I have to save them! Just for them to get their ass beat again. What's going on here? His voice, listen, no hate to the voice actor. I'm sure that's how they wanted this character to sound, but I hate it. I hate it. They give him a monster form that he can't control, and that was kind of cool. That gave him some points. And then he learns how to control it. And then it has a voice. It has his voice.
Don't worry, Usopp. I know what I'm doing.
The only cool thing about Chopper, ruined. That's half of them I don't like. But that being said, the side characters are so peak. So peak. So peak. Ace, brother. When that man died, I was screaming. The older brother, just from the second he shows up in the show, he's drip. Shanks, unmatched aura. Rob Lucci, most fire name I've ever heard. Dom Flamenco. Don Quixote Flamenco. He's one of the coolest freaking villains ever. He's just a psychopath. You got Nolan the Liar. Freaking Joe Pesci's in this. Fucking Whitebeard might have one of the hardest deaths in all of anime.
Even after death, his body remains upright.
The fucking mole lady that calls people Rons. Kozuki Odin. This story is so beautifully written. Like, I don't even, the twists that they put in, I don't see half of them coming ever. And they're all good twists. Like the freaking, the samurai guy who's actually the bad guy the whole time, and he can actually draw. I didn't expect that at all. I thought it was a gag character. One Piece rarely leaves holes in their story, and it's so peak considering they have so many characters, so many episodes, and they're so good at callbacks. Like, things that happened early on in the show, they call back to it, even though it's like 1,000 episodes later. They make stupid things peak. And they make me laugh. The giraffe scene, where the guy's trying to make his gum fruit, his devil fruit seem pog. Finger pistols being a joke about finger guns. It's actually badass. And I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. The most hype thing I have ever heard in anything ever, my heart was pounding, was when the elephant, Zoe, Luffy dies from fighting Kaido for the 5th time after getting his ass beat. He's on the floor, and then the drums start playing, and then the elephant's going,
It's been so long. I can hear the drums of liberation. For the first time in 800 years. He's here. I'm sure of it. Joy Boy has returned!
Dog, it's amazing. Everything people have said about One Piece, it is everything. They made me care about a boat. It has every single thing you could possibly want in a show. Action, drama, sad scenes, happy scenes. It's so voice acting phenomenal. Every voice matches the character perfectly. I dare you to watch this and not find at least 10 characters you adore. Every arc you'll find something new to love about this show. It's so good. The only reason it's not S tier is because it's way too goddamn long. That being said, I was glued to my screen for all 1,000+ episodes. Pokemon, if you grew up in the 2000s, Pokemon has always been peak. Always. It hurts me to put it this low, genuinely, because this was my entire childhood. I love Pokemon so much, I play Pokemon Showdown to this day. I get hype over the starter reveals to this day. But I stopped watching during Black and White when frickin' bitch ass Iris and her Axew. No ratings for that bitch. Dude, this show is just, the theme songs always slap. They make you care about a new starter every goddamn season. Charizard, Grovyle. Dog, they put Bayleaf in the show and didn't evolve him because they knew Meganium was whack. So they kept it as a Bayleaf. These mans knew what they were doing. And then, the greatest arc in all of Pokemon, and why this shit has its fair share of peak, is the Chimchar arc in Diamond and Pearl. And if mans know about me, they know I love Infernape. The abuse that this poor Chimchar goes through with bitch ass Paul, my day one op. Every time Paul lost, I was cheering. Bum-ass trainer puts in the Chimchar versus water types, rock types. The Mon sometimes wins, doesn't get to cheer. The Mon loses, he gives him shit. What can he do, dude? You're taking out all the joy of being a Pokemon. Being Drip. Paul's bitch ass makes him train like crazy because he saw this Chimchar 1v9 a group of Zangiefs. Because he was so low, if you play the Pokemon games, you know what Blaze is. He activated Blaze because he was so weak, under 25% HP, and then he 1v9'd. So Paul's like, that's Drip. The only time I ever agreed with Paul. And then he's training him relentlessly. The man loses a battle to Chimchar's in the hospital, and he's like, no, I want to take him out. He's got to train. This man's on his deathbed. You got Brock telling you you're a fucking idiot. Brock almost opened his eyes to tell you, buddy. And then he gives up the Chimchar. And now the Chimchar has PTSD, has mental issue. The first time I ever felt connected to something. And it was a Pokemon. I couldn't talk, couldn't share his feeling, but you could see it. You could see how everything affected him. You could see how his bullshit-ass trainer affected him. So now that he's got a good trainer in his life, he doesn't know how to act. He bites him. But Ash doesn't hit him, doesn't give him shit, doesn't make him fight Pikachu for the 100th time. He consoles him. He's like, it's okay, man. Don't worry, I get it. PTSD's a bitch. Then, he frickin' Chimchar's fighting and he loses the fight. But the rest of Ash's Pokemon are cheering him on. Power of friendship in that. And he starts crying because he doesn't know what to do, dude. He's never seen this level of kindness. He's so happy. He's safe. They keep watering his plant, and the harvest is bountiful. Cause he turns into the GOAT! Infernape! And then when he gets the opportunity, Infernape 1v9s. Like it's all the Zangief again. The Electivire that used to bully him as a youth beats his ass at first, and then he starts taunting him. And Infernape gets up, activates Blaze, and beats that boy's ass! Name me another Pokemon that had two of them in the same series, in the same arc. Flint had an Infernape. There was two Infernapes. Because he's that sick. So sick you had to do it twice. The originator of close combat. The greatest move in Pokemon. Drip move. CC. Oh! Diamond and Pearl had that shit, man. The greatest op Ash has ever faced. Not only that, but you had Cynthia. The epitome of drip. Cynthia and her Garchomp locked in for life, man. Dialga and Palkia. Time and space. Now we got fucking bike legendaries, brother. I can ride my legendary. What the fuck is this? The rest of the show, dude, I grew up in the 2000s, so this shit held me down. Every morning before school I was watching Pokemon. But nothing held me down like Diamond and Pearl. Hurts to put a B tier, but a lot of y'all could not watch this over again. It's a rough watch. I promise. Rising Impact. Okay. This shit pretty ass. I'm not gonna lie. The premise of the show is this kid, Gawain, wants to hit ball far. So he thinks that he can get a baseball bat and a baseball, and that's the way he can hit ball the farthest. But then this golfer lady shows him, yo, but have you ever seen golf dough? And she hits a ball like 500 yards. And he's like, yo, that hit ball really far. Teach me. And then he starts to learn golf. And then you see him eventually evolve from, I want to hit ball far, to, yo, golf's actually pretty sick. The premise is drip, but characters all kind of suck, I'm not gonna lie. Gawain, drip. I love Gawain. Adorable. Every time he's walking, he goes squish, 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 squish. Adorable. I love Gawain. However, there's not a single other character that is even remotely interesting in this show. I watched the first season in its entirety. It did not deserve that, but I wanted to see Wagwan with Gawain. And it kind of sucked. I'm not gonna lie. I would not recommend this to anyone. Listen, y'all could like this, but I don't see anybody liking this. Attack on Titan is the greatest story I have ever experienced in my life. I think Breaking Bad is the greatest show of all time. Before I watched this, I thought Breaking Bad was the greatest show of all time. I would recommend this to anybody, even people who think anime is cringe. It's just wow. Reiner telling them I'm the armor titan. Eren telling his dad to get up. The twists are phenomenal. The way with every big mic drop, the world slowly opens more and more. The basement. The Reiner armor titan. Where the fuck did he come from? How does he know where we are? The Sasquatch talking. Titans can talk now? Eldian Empire. The rumbling. Just boom, boom, boom. Everything raises the scope of where we are. And it feels like there's no plot holes. Their attention to detail is so amazing. I don't think there's a single character in the show I hate. Other than Eren, and that's the point. You're supposed to hate Eren. The man wanted his freedom and never had it. Some people hate the ending, and I thought that shit was fine. It worked at least. Mikasa kissing Eren at the end was a little odd. But attention to detail, Eren's eyes are closed the entire rumbling. But when he sees Mikasa, he opens his eyes. And even though this bitch just went through an entire war, should have blood, cuts on her face, he sees her as spotless. Because he loves her, and that's how he wants to see her. Episode after episode, I didn't breathe, I didn't eat, I didn't sleep, nothing. Watching Attack on Titan. I've watched this shit 3 times this year. Just the way they do everything is so good. It hits me so nice. Like, the way they don't handhold your shit. Like, when Eren first became the Attack Titan, you see this Titan fighting other Titans, and you're like, yo, what's that guy doing? And then you slowly start to think, like, yo, is that Eren? And the way they just foreshadow things with the tiniest details that you'd have to watch the show again to even catch. Like, the freaking... When Zeke is when Zeke is gonna freaking plotting his attack, and then you see the scouts running through the fields, and then if you look at some of the frames, there's breathing pipes sticking out of the ground. So when Zeke screams, that's where the Titans are coming from. This shit is so Sasageo! The fucking return to Shiganshina is one of the greatest masterpieces things I've ever seen in my life. Nobody on Earth could make guaranteed death sound motivating like Erwin can.
Because my soldiers do not buckle or yield when faced with the cruelty of this world. My soldiers push forward. My soldiers scream out. My soldiers rage!
It's so absurdly good. It's not slow. It's just bang. Bang, bang, bang. The reveals feel so worth it. I was fortunate enough to watch this very late. So I wasn't in there with the tabloids, man, giving their opinions on the anime. I just got to watch it myself. I didn't have to wait weekly for this shit to come out. I was just watching. I didn't let my mind race, think of other things. Just boom, 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 boom. It was a marathon. But it was a marathon I enjoyed. Phenomenal. Attack on Titan is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. I still think JJK is sicker. I just love JJK. I'm sorry. And my goats animated the last 2 seasons, or last season. So, Blue Period. I'm going to put this has its fair share of peak. Okay. This show is basically about this dude who's good at school, has friends, has everything going for him. Can basically pick a career, make a career out of anything he wants in life. But he doesn't have his thing. He doesn't know himself that well. And you get to see this dude try to understand himself through art. And this might not hit for everybody. I understand. But as a dude trying his own at a creative medium, making videos, this spoke to me in a way that just, I don't know. I've never watched an anime perfectly encapsulated my feelings on something. And it was something based on reality. Like, I wasn't freaking fighting a dragon. And it was so easy to relate to a lot of the things Yatora goes through. Like, understanding that things aren't just black and white when being creative. What should only matter is how you feel about it. Like, by the way, this show has quotes up the ass that I would get tattooed on my ass. Like this one about that black and white thing of whether it's an apple or a rabbit, if you see it as blue, paint it blue. Like, this show's full of just quotes and moments that just hit so hard. Like, in the beginning, his first painting is him painting what Shibuya looks like in the morning after like a night of drinking with his friends. When he puts it on for everyone to see, like an art gallery sort of thing, and this girl goes up to him and goes up to it and looks at it, and she's like, oh, this one's really good. But then she realizes it's by Yatora and she already doesn't like him, so she's like, oh, I wish I didn't see that. But then his friends are like, they're teasing him like, yo, you got your first fan. And then they're looking at it, and then they look and say, yo, isn't that Shibuya in the morning like you were talking to us about? And they're like, oh yeah. And then Yatora starts crying. And he's like, that's the first time I feel like I had a real conversation with somebody. And it's just so, like, okay, I was crying at that scene, literally. Like, I know I'm explaining it in a way that just, like, isn't that emotional, but I can't explain how much emotion I get when somebody rates something I did. That moment reminded me of the first video I ever made was this Pokemon video of me beating a Nuzlocke. I worked so hard on it. I spent so much time I was learning how to edit from scratch like I've never edited before. It was my dream to start a YouTube channel. And I just finally put it out after like month or two of just straight doing the video, and then just seeing my friends comment on it, like they liked a bunch of stuff. They were sending me screenshots of parts of the video. They're like, I was in my room, like I was so happy. I had tears in my eyes, just like I was so happy. It was one of the happiest moments of my life. And I feel like that little interaction in the show just perfect. Like I felt like I was in that moment again of that first video, and people were actually rating it and liked parts of it. It's like, man, I guess watching that made me relive that moment. I just started crying again. And it's so cool seeing all the motions of somebody trying their hand at an outlet of expression. The excitement, the questioning of what's important to you. First wins of somebody actually thinking your shit's cool. The struggle of not trying to just mimic that shit that people thought was cool. Like, just discovering yourself through the first real voice you've ever had is just so peak. It's so, oh man, it hits so nicely. And I think that the character of Yato is just so easy to relate to, because he just, even though he's good at so many other things, because he's bad at this thing or isn't at the level he thinks is good enough, he's so doubtful of himself and so critical about everything he does. And even though he's not the greatest painter of all time, he wants to put in that effort to be at least proud of himself. And I don't know, man, it hits so nice to me. I think this came out at the perfect time when I just started making videos, and I wanted to spend a little more time learning how to edit or just make a new series. Like this, because of this anime, I birthed Tall Feats, which isn't that great. It's pretty ass. This would probably be in the meh tier, but it makes me happy to do. So I don't know. It's motivating, and it's comforting to watch something that the character in the show is feeling a lot of the feelings that you're feeling, and they actually put it into words, which is something I like suck balls at. So it's nice to see that. My hero. Okay. This is numero dos of my top 3 anime characters. All Might. This show was described to me before I started watching it as a lot of the show is valleys, but their peaks are like the highest of high peaks. And that couldn't have been more spot on. The All Might versus All for One, Bakugo versus Midoriya versus Todoroki. It's so gas. And All Might it's the same show with Gurren Lagann. They kill off my character too early, but at least he's still in the show. I even like No Powers All Might. Toshinori. Let me put some respect on his name. He's drip. When he's fighting All for One for the second time, and he's in that mech suit, I was crying, literally in tears, at how amazing he was. How drip All Might is. I was in tears. I couldn't control it. I didn't put my back into it that time.
Goodbye. All for One. United States of
Oh! Entire All for One fight was just, and then when he defeats All for One and he's pointing at the crowd, he's so All Might. He, in the moment of the most badass thing he's ever done in his life, he takes the time to move the attention away from him. He says it's really all about Midoriya, but they think it's all about y'all. And he's even pointing, but he's still looking at All for One, making sure he doesn't move. Just gas. Just gas. Oh my god, I love All Might. And listen, this show has proven to me more than anything else that I'm a bit of a dumbass. I didn't know that Dabi was Endeavor's kid. That reveal had my jaw on the floor. I didn't get it. Dude, they didn't have the same color hair. His fire was blue. I didn't put two and two together. I don't know why. But it made the reveal so sick. It made me enjoy the show even more. But listen, the only thing they do good with this show in terms of characters, other than All Might, is villains for some reason. Except the lizard guy. I don't give a shit about the lizard guy. But the villains, they actually put time into their backstory. I actually give a shit about some of the villains. But then the other heroes, I don't care about any of these guys. Except Lemillion. Lemillion's drip name blows. But the character's sick. His power's sick. Endeavor's entire everything was fire, no pun intended. In season 1, I thought Todoroki was going to be cool, but they just turned him into like an idiot. Half the time he's going, and I get it, he just went through like some shit. He's going through like a midlife crisis, doesn't know whether to use his left side or not. Ida and Bakugo are pretty cool. I know a lot of mans don't like Midoriya, me included, but I think his character makes sense at least. Eraserhead's pretty cool, I wish he got some more on him. But all the other characters? God, they tried to make the bling bling boy, the freaking belly button kid. They tried to make the belly button kid some cool ass story, some cool ass reveal. I don't care about bling bling boy. Froppy. I don't care about Froppy. I don't care about Ochako. I don't care about anyone. Nobody from Class A. And they try to make Class A feel all kumbaya. The kid who talks to animals. I don't care. I don't care about rock hard guy or guy that electrocutes his own brain. Who are these people? If it wasn't for All Might, this shit might be at meh, honestly. But All Might is so... His voice is sick, his design is sick, the way he fights is sick. And he's such a good father figure to young Midoriya. And listen, I think it's a crime to watch this in Japanese. Genuinely. Because it ruins All Might. All Might isn't as badass without that voice. United States of Smash! Detroit Smash. How are you going to watch that in Japanese? The man saying Detroit Smash. He has to have an American voice actor. Look at his costume. Zom 100. I'm going to put it, I don't like but could see it. But I'm going to put it above all these. It's basically about this dude, Akira Tendo, who's working for some bullshit company that overworks their employees. Think the GOAT's Mappa. And then a zombie apocalypse happens and he's just now free to do whatever he wants. So he makes a bucket list of 100 things he wants to do before turning into a zombie. And it's very cute and very well animated. I love the main character. You first see him as this dude, aspirations out the wazoo. Then the work life turns him into a literal zombie. And then you slowly start to see him come back full circle into the person he used to be. And you just can't help but feel happy and giddy for him. Like, when he finds his old friend that he always wanted to catch up with, but they both never had time. It's cool. It gives the message, to me, it gives me the message of why wait until the end of the world to start living. Now I'm about to say some madness, but this shit reminded me of COVID time. And listen, I'm not saying COVID was a good thing. A lot of people died, a lot of people got very sick. I still can't smell that good. However, COVID to me, COVID life, was the greatest moment of my life. Genuinely. I was working an office job, and I was thinking to myself like, damn, dude, I'm never going to have a summer break ever again. From now on, it's work till I die. And I was getting a little sad about it. But then COVID came, and I got to live life again. I got to do all the things I didn't have time for. I could just wake up in my underwear at whatever time I wanted, play video games all day if I wanted. I started reading, I started working out, I started eating healthier. It was such a good time for me. I could go out, get some fresh air in my backyard. I didn't have to see no bullshit people because COVID restrictions. I didn't have to put on a face to see mans I didn't want to see. It was beautiful. Some of the best couple months of my life. And this show really reminded me of that time. And Akira Tendo reminded me of that feeling of like glee of breaking the walls of corporate life. And the animating is phenomenal. Like, I can't describe this enough. At the beginning, the animation's literally all full of colors, bright, beautiful. And then as he starts working his corporate life, every like new scene, it gets more grayed out and grayed out and grayed out until it's like all gray basically. And then he starts running away from the zombies and realizes his life's restarting again. He literally breaks the aspect ratio. Like little details like that are so peak to me. It just adds so much to the enjoyment of the show because it feels like the animators are just having fun with it. Any passion project deserves its respect. And I respect the shit out of this. But to me, it's a little too pretty for how mediocre the anime is. It's not bad by any means, but it's just not like good either. I watched the whole thing over, but I probably won't be watching season 2. Just not for me. But I can 100% understand people adoring this anime because it's very cute and very like feel goody. Arcane. This is probably the thing I feel the strongest about in this entire thing. Filled with hate. Arcane was a success. I understand. Millions of people watching it, tuning in for every episode. Apparently season 2 was not bad either. But I need to know, who is this for? Because if this was to get people excited to play League, it failed miserably. Because who the fuck is watching this anime and goes, I want to play League for 40 minutes. I want to farm for 40 minutes. I want to get ganked. Nobody's doing that. Okay. So, it's for people who play League. Okay. Why did you make it about these characters? Who cares about Jinx and Vi? Ooh, big punch sister. And little sister, but with big gun. Who cares? The other Caitlyn, who cares? Jace is kinda cool, but they ruined him. Freaking Piltovering Mel. Victor kinda cool, ruined. You had lore, but you ruined it. I think it's so cringe that you had to rework a champion you had lore for to fit this show. Who is this for? You had lore that people loved. Oh, I'm Powder, but my friends call me a Jinx, so now I'm gonna be Jinx, and I'm gonna do bad stuff. Are you a pick me, man? I don't care. F tier, man. I don't know anybody who watches this who says, oh, I want to go on Summoner's Rift after watching this enticing episode of Arcane. I want to play this game for 5 minutes for someone to type FF15 because they died once. At least make it about something, a cool character. At least. Make it about Noxus. Your cinematics are cooler than this, in my opinion. I see your cinematic team making banger after banger, and then you're giving me this shit. F. Haikyuu. S. S, and there's no question. The maybe only anime with more than 2 seasons that every season slaps. Every single one. There's no bad season. There's no mid-season. All bangers. Every team they face, you give a shit about. You like one of those players at least. Me, I like Kurasu. I like half their team members. I really do. But when they were facing Albajoss, I wanted them to lose. I was cheering for Albajoss. Oikawa is my 3rd of my top 3 characters. I love him. Every time he's on the screen, I'm screaming. I feel like the shorties that are always, oh my god, Oikawa. I'm like that. Every time he's serving, I'm going, oh, hey. I do that in real life when I'm serving in my brain. His mentality of, I know mans are born better than me, but I'm still gonna try, is fire. Man's trying to prove himself wrong. Talent is something you bloom. Instinct is something you polish. Oh! God, there's so many characters that are just great in this show. If you watch the movie, Kuro, dude, him as a youth, man, I fell in love. When they say he's never gonna forget this moment after he spiked for the first time, dude, I couldn't help but fall in love with the guy. The Mia twins, gas! Their whole freaking, when they're about to, they go, shh, like an orchestra, and then everybody stops cheering. Brother. And this shit is real volleyball. You can tell the person who created this just adores the sport. And not only that, but loves the competition of sport in general. If you've ever played a sport in your life, and you understand the life or death one game can feel like, this show perfectly encapsulates that feeling. The raw emotion of playing a sport and giving it your all, pushing yourself to your absolute limit just to get one more point, one more bump, one more spike. And the feeling of a close, dude, anybody who's ever done anything, play video games, play a sport, the feeling of a close game is unmatched. And every arc of this show just gives you that feeling over and over. I know Karasuno's gonna win, and I'm biting my nails at every point. I see them score a point, outsmart the other team, and I'm like, oh, let's go! Like I'm cheering for my favorite team. And how they immaculately show every character, people's different points of views, but when the game is tough, everyone's locked in. Mans have the same point of view. A close game can make even the biggest of haters of a sport lock in and want to win. Dog, Kenma being all nonchalant, and then the game's actually close and he gets hyped. Oh my god, man. Wow. It's so good, man. It's so good. It's the peak of sport media that isn't real sport. I feel like I'm watching a documentary of the closest games in blank sport. Because it's all sick. I feel like I'm watching NBA 2016 finals, Cavs Golden State Game 7 in these games. Dude, I'm like, blocked by James! Ace by Oikawa! Oh! You can't help but feel in this show. My heart starts pumping, and I've watched this multiple times. I've watched Alba Josai vs. Karasuno so many times, I could probably do the choreography myself. Turned me into an otaku. I have a jersey. Another lot. Dude, I'm gonna lose my breath. Death Note is the anime that got me into anime. I was talking about the 1-2 punch of Gon and Killua. This might be the greatest 1-2 punch ever. L vs. Light is like Batman Joker. It's just peak. Dude, I could not for the life of me put this shit down. I used to think anime was for losers, weebs. How can mans dress up like anime character? What are you, 5? Was this Halloween? But then I watched Death Note. I got it. I understand now. Dude, what I would give up to watch this for the first time again. Like, L's a genius. How do you figure out a man is killing people with a book? He's the greatest detective ever. Fuck Batman. Fuck Inspector Gadget, bro. L. My top 5 is L. Watching them try to outplay each other, but L was always in front. As soon as Light was the suspect, L was pulling up to his dad like, yo, your son is Kira. I'm telling you. He's even telling Light. Yo, a couple mans died today. Know anything about that? Shit was so gat. Every character was sick. Even Nier. Dude, the first time L gets Light with the Lindale Taylor, dude, I feel like I'm at a rap battle. I'm going, oh, he got you with Lindale Taylor! L's voice is just so perfect for it. Dude, you had me holding snacks like this for a week. And that's the main part of the show. Dude, the other characters, Light and his sister's relationship is so great. Yeah, I'll keep your secret for $50. And Light just turning more and more into a psychopath as it goes on is just peak, man. This ending was satisfying. I was pretty pissed when L died. Dropped the show for a couple days. I had to mourn. But the ending was worth it. Light just breaking down when he realizes he lost. Peak. The Shinigami, fire. I love this show. I love it. Genuinely. Hell's Paradise. Goddamn near S. Gabimaru the Hollow. Oh, chills, dude. Chills by that name. He's such a hard character. He's talking you through his mindset in the middle of a fight. It's so cool. And the power system reminds me of Nen from Hunter x Hunter. The characters in the show are sick. The one man cuts his own arm off like it's Walking Dead so he doesn't get infected. And this shit was animated by the GOATs. Do I know they do their slave labor, man? I'm sorry for your working conditions, but y'all put out peak. The scenery is beautiful in this show. The Tenzin look godlike. The first few episodes is literally a bunch of killers and psychopaths running around this island, fucking around and finding out. It's peak! And then the later half actually dives into the characters, their motivations, what they're here for, and explains the power system, explains why everything is the way it is. Motherfuckers are dying left and right. And the whole time we think Gabimaru's doing this shit for his wife, that bitch might not even exist. It's drip, dude. It's so good. I saw some people hating on this. I think y'all are just too privileged. Maybe I'm just easily excitable. I don't know. But I thought this shit was great. I can't wait for season 2. There wasn't enough episodes to like fully flesh out a thought or an opinion. It's like 12 episodes or something. But this shit bangs. Anyways, next, Odd Taxi. Almost perfect. If you enjoy creative storytelling, do yourself a favor and watch Odd Taxi. I think it's almost a crime to spoil anything about the show, but I'm going to talk about it a bit. The entire show is made up of animals. All the characters are animals. So if that bothers you, I get it, but it's still worth. It's basically Pulp Fiction in the way that it's just a bunch of storylines that all into one, and it's worth it. The ending feels fine. It feels satisfying to watch. It doesn't feel like just some bullshit that they're adding in. The story unfolds through a taxi driver, this walrus, driving people around, and while they talk about their lives and their days, the story unfolds. And I think that's such a genius way to tell a story. Like, getting plot details from a taxi cab drive is so fire. I think it's the coolest way. I think their connections work so well. It's just beautiful storytelling in my opinion. I think it's so well written. I don't know. I can't talk about certain parts because it won't give justice to the overall show. Watching the whole thing is an experience, and it's so good. I think there's a movie out that might take out some parts, so make it a little shorter, but this story's so good, man. I rate creative storytelling higher than most people. I think it's so interesting to find new ways to tell a story, and this one is probably the most creative I've ever seen. You should watch it. One Punch Man. Okay. Listen, this is the highest don't like but could see it. I wanted to like this so badly. I was even doing Saitama's workout for like a couple months, but it just felt so flat to me. In my opinion, in a show like this, where your main character is the strongest in the entire world, I think your main character has to be sick. Okay. I think his fight scenes have to be cool, or like his freaking, I don't know, just he has to have a little more. And it's not that Saitama's not cool or not funny, it's not that. He's just kind of meh. Like, he's just okay. I feel like in these type of shows, if your main character's not that sick, you have to have other characters that are sick at least around him. And the only other character I kind of like is Moomin Rider, because he's jokes. But the rest of the characters are like, whatever, I don't care about any of them. He wins every fight with one punch. His mindset's like kind of whatever too. I don't like it, unfortunately. I thought everyone else was so boring. The premise is sick. The way they joke in the show is funny. But it just, I don't know, man. It just felt flat for me. I don't know what it is. I watched the entirety of the first season. I couldn't watch the second. I just didn't like it. I don't know. I genuinely have nothing to say about this. I just didn't like it. DanDaDan? I'd put this above Barakamon. First and foremost, the greatest theme song in all of anime. Shit's about this dude who believes in extraterrestrials and a girl who believes in ghosts, or in the spirit world, and they don't believe in the other. But then they challenge each other to find the one they don't believe in. Okarun and Miss Ayase's relationship is adorable. This is not a shonen. This is not a freaking fighting. This is a love story. This is a unique way of writing a love story. And it's adorable. Genuinely. Some of y'all may not know this, but the man who wrote DanDaDan, before he pitched this idea, man's forced him to read 100 romance manga so that he can understand relationships a little better. And that's how DanDaDan became a thing. I like how natural it feels. Shorty sees this kid gets bullied, stands up for him, then he thinks she's kind of cool with him, so he tries to tell her about his interests, then she's like, bro, you're weird, then he gets sad, she feels bad about it, apologizes, tries to relate to him, Then he laughs at her, boom, plot. I don't necessarily like how, not random, but random it is. Usually I love random. I love just creative bullshit. But I feel like it's random for, like, it's trying to be funny random. It's trying to be funny. It kind of falls a little flat to me sometimes. So something about that makes me not fuck with it all the way. But I just love the other characters in the show. I love the relationship between the two. It's so adorable. I'm literally like giggling like a schoolgirl. Like my friend is finally talking to his crush. It's adorable. It's not a bad watch at all. I watched the entire thing easily. I can't wait for another season of this. It's just like, I don't know. Something about it just doesn't put it, I don't put it as high as some other people might. Maybe with more seasons, I'll change my mind about it. But for now, to me, this is just a romance anime. The part I like about it the most is the romance. It's very cute. But like the fight scenes, I don't really like that much. I don't like the aliens like at all. The spirits are kind of cool. I like pretty much all of them so far. But the aliens that want the dick is like, they want Okarun's balls is like a little, to me it's just a little too funny for the sake of trying to be funny. I haven't seen something that captures that like shyness of trying to see if somebody likes you back or not like this show does. It does a very good job of that, and it makes me feel warm and it feels like I'm having a crush again. It's very cute. Spy Family S. Spy needs to go undercover, so he picks up a psychic girl from an orphanage and then dates an assassin. And then you see both of these people trying to live life. Peak. Anya Forger, dude, I am filled with tears, with happiness seeing this character. She's so cute. Lloyd is jokes, and he's also adorable. Dude, the trope of a super serious working guy trying to become a dad is the cutest. You can't help but just smile through this entire anime. Yours, ditzy and cute. She's trying to be a mom after being an assassin. You must, similar to Chainsaw Man, have to watch this in Japanese. It does not work otherwise. Anya is nowhere near as cute. For some reason, Japanese people know how to make cute kids. I don't know what it is. They're always adorable. And I feel like the voice matches the face so much better in Japanese in this one. It's a great show. It's so cute. Dude, I like, if you've watched it, you know. It makes you happy to just, I don't know how you can watch this and not be in a good mood after. It's such a feel-good anime. Sakamoto Days. This is the anime I've watched the absolute least, except for Ninja Goblin. I'm gonna put it as has its fair share of peak, just because I haven't seen a lot of it, but what I've seen so far is great. I decided to wait until the anime is all out before watching it, because I can't do this weekly shit. I can't do it. It's gonna be the same thing as Spy Family, that this freaking undercover killer of all killers is gonna freaking rescue a bunch of other killers or spies and friggin' take them under his wing because he's retired now. He found a wife, he's chilling. He loves his life. He doesn't want to go back. But I haven't seen enough of it, so I don't know. I have no opinion. Beastars is, if I had a worse than ass, this would be on it. The entire time, I was expecting something. Crazy reveal. I was wondering why the acting was bad. I thought that was on purpose. But no, I don't think it was. This shit is just a bunch of fucking animals. And I mean that literally. I watched the entire first season and I was so appalled, I recorded myself talking about this. Here you go.
First reaction to this shit. I'm watching Beastars right now at work. Yo, this shit is so ass. It's so fucking garbage, man. It's like a telenovela, but worse. Like the writing is worse. I'm watching it in the dub, so maybe that's why. I don't know. But yo, motherfuckers kissed for the first time, and the shorty's like, "You've been hurt your whole life, haven't you? I can see it in your eyes." Y'all just kissed, man. Y'all met for the first time. Holding paint. He's fucking wiping out his face. I just realized I'm in love with you. This shit is ass! Seen it on like most watched on Netflix, so I'm assuming it's good or it gets good. Or maybe I'm ass. I don't know, man. But I'm like, I can't stop watching because I need to see if it gets any better or if like anything is redeemable. This shit is so ass, dude. It's so fucking ass.
Ass tier, this is the worst thing I have ever watched, and I watched it in its entirety. I will never get that time back. So anyways, thank you. That was my tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys found some new stuff to watch. So yeah, that's all from me. Ball heat out.